early on with the first couple injuries, I was like, oh, like I need to get back. Like, but I think like my mom texted me like after this last injury, and like they know how hard it's been on me. But my mom was like, you've taken so much time for everybody else. Like you have to take time for yourself now. So just trying to do that the best I can.
No one thought a casual sit down between Caitlin Clark and Sue Bird would spiral into this. 1 minute they are swapping basketball stories. The next, Caitlin drops a line about her injury that nearly sent fans into cardiac arrest mid. Popcorn. Was it a comeback tease, a calculated mind game, or the opening scene of basketball's next blockbuster?
I cannot believe Caitlin Clark said out loud. Do I believe Caitlin Clark said this? Yeah. Do I believe she's right? Yeah. I cannot believe Caitlin Clark said this out loud. I'm shocked. I am shocked that she said it out loud in the Sue Bird podcast. And she's 100% correct. She's played on a team with Natasha Howard, who, let's be real,
drama. Whatever it was, the internet went nuclear, and Sue's expression said it all. This wasn't just an interview. It was a cliffhanger. Subscribe if you still believe. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's top player. Her sit down with Sue Bird wasn't just watched. It was devoured. Think Netflix is dropping
given me really good perspective on like what a lot of my teammates and people that teams I've been a part of, like certain people have had to go through. Like I've never been through anything like this. Like, and I think that's probably why it's been so hard, because like I've never really dealt with injury, and that's probably been a challenge in itself, because like when I first like was feeling pain, like I didn't understand it. Like I didn't know. I was like, what am I?
Prize season of your favorite show, and suddenly your feed is nothing but spoilers and wild theories. Fans tuned in expecting polite basketball banter, maybe a wholesome team story, a sprinkle the get well soon vibes. Instead, Caitlin walked in and radiating, "I'll give you just enough to set your group chats on fire and nothing more." Sue Bird
We have gotten a little bit of an update. Here from Chloe Peterson, who is probably the main journalist involved with the Indiana Fever. And realistically, this is not an ideal scenario for anyone, but it's an update. And look, to say that she doesn't have any extra information is wrong. She 1,000,000% does it.
Sat there like a woman guarding Tate's secrets and enjoying every second of it from the jump. She wore those sly, knowing smiles that say, "I've been in this game long enough to know exactly how it works, but you're not getting the blueprint." She didn't need to steer the conversation. She let Caitlin take the wheel, chiming in only with a perfectly timed nod or a surgical eyebrow raise.
The logo 3, as we know it today, like came when you got to college, got stronger to college. But you were like, but I always had to step back.
I did always have to step back.
So like, where does that come from? Like, were you mimicking? Did it just come naturally?
I think it just like kind of came naturally. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put my finger on. Honestly, I grew up like a basketball junkie, so I think like even if you're not like intentionally like watching and like paying attention,
like osmosis.
You're just like absorbing what you're consuming.
Like she was seasoning the moment just right. It was interviewing as an art form without ever turning up the heat. Caitlin, she showed up armed with answers so precise in their vagueness. They could win gold in the Olympics. Dodge. She walked us through her injury saga, starting with a quadriceps strain, annoying but manageable until it teamed up with a groin injury, like they were forming the Avengers of irritating setbacks. Just when she thought she'd beaten the final boss, bam, another groin injury. Because in the WNBA, Injuries don't do closure.
Caitlin being out, a lot of people are looking forward to you two facing off for the first time.
Yeah, I hope she has a speedy recovery. I think player safety is most important, so making sure you're 100% before you step out on the floor can lead to worse things, so I'm glad she's taking care of her body. But there'll be plenty.
They follow soap opera rules. Just when you think the villain's gone, they crash the season finale. She didn't dramatize it. She didn't have to. Timeline spoke for itself. This was her first real sentence after the injury. Jail. And every second looked like torture. Imagine being hardwired for constant competition, then told to sit quietly and watch. That's like asking a Ferrari to take up knitting. Her rehab days sounded like a revolving door of hope and frustration. Some mornings, she's mentally sprinting, convinced she's one good stretch from being game ready. Other days her body smirks and says, "Cute, but you live here now."
They can do, and I'd say it's very much under, kept under wraps what's going on with Caitlin Clark. But let's take a listen right here.
As we start to answer some questions. First question comes from Krista, who asked this, and she follows up, to your knowledge, is Caitlin practicing with the team at all yet? And just in case anybody's listening to this only, Chloe, do you have any updates whatsoever on Caitlin Clark's health status?
The most I know is, what's already been reported, in the sense of she's been running up and down full speed.
Disney, movies, sports psych sessions. Caitlin Clark might have just invented the cozy girl athlete aesthetic. Picture it. Moana for the 10th time. Tea in hand, formations in her notebook, and a resistance band in the corner. Silently plotting to ruin her mood. Here's where the interview got spicy. Without ever raising its voice. The pressure was tangible, not just from her team but from the entire orbit around her name. The league doesn't just want her back. They need her back. Fans are starving for their fix of step back.
Now, 64% of the WNBA is black. Caitlin Clark comes in and is immediately the biggest star in the league. Immediately. And merchandising in every other way. Apparently, there's some jealousy that might be manifesting itself into physical
threes and logo bombs. Sponsors. Let's just say merch doesn't fly off shelves. The same without Clark on the hardwood. And then there's the quiet truth. The financial gravity. Caitlin's brand has become its own mini economy. Even sidelined. She's out there signing autographs, taking photos, smiling through the grind. But that pace not built for forever. Somewhere in her mind, she knows her absence isn't just a sports headline. It's a business story. Sue Bird, to her credit,
people can say what they want, but there's not a player in the WNBA that impacts their team more than Caitlin Clark and has the responsibility that Caitlin Clark has for their team. When we talk about an engine, when we talk about passing, scoring, facilitating, gravity on the basketball court, when we talk about all these different things and all these different patterns, that the way that she plays and the way that she gets her spots and her movement on the court, and she plays the game with a unique rhythm.
It played it cool, letting the tension breathe. And of course, the moment the internet was really waiting for the comeback clock. Is Caitlin Clark about to shock the world and suit up next week? Or are we all strapped in for a slow burn suspense? Saga. Caitlin's answer was so precise in its mystery, you'd think she'd taken a masterclass in keeping the world guessing. No date, no specifics, just enough breadcrumbs to make you think mid to late August while slightly hinting at An earlier shocker. The fever is clearly on the better safe than sorry plan, playing the long game because rushing a star back from injury is the sport's equivalent of microwaving steak. Sure, it's quicker, but everyone's going to regret it. Then came the twist, the emotional gut punch. Caitlyn shared what her mom told her she's not wired for. Quiet returns. When she comes back, it's going to be loud. First possession, she touches the ball. The arena will go feral. Commentators will have their "she's back" lines locked and loaded. And Twitter expected to collapse for a solid 15 minutes. Subbard knew it. That little glint in her. I said, I know exactly how this comeback plays out, and you're all going to lose your minds. She's been there herself, riding the hype machine without letting it consume her. The beauty of this interview was in what it didn't give away. No full answers, just teasers. Possibilities dangled like bait. Enough for the headlines, but the real story is saved for the encore. That's how you keep a fan base hooked. Not with closure, but with the promise of chaos lurking around the corner. And when Caitlin Clark steps back onto the hardwood, somewhere in her head she'll be thinking, told you I'd be back. Her injury saga has spawned an entire subculture of speculation. Like March Madness had a baby with a conspiracy theory subreddit that you've got the she's secretly already healthy and just waiting for the perfect TV ratings moment crowd. These are the folks tracking her grocery store runs, referencing the number of steps from her car to the door with projected recovery timelines. She grabs a gallon of milk without flinching, boom, instant 12-minute YouTube breakdown. Then there's the she's done for the season. Pessimists acting like Caitlyn filmed the interview from a hospital bed hooked to life support. They freeze frame her every movement. See that tiny twitch? Yeah, she's not back until 2026. These are the people who could turn a sneeze into a press release. And caught in the middle are the casual fans who clicked expecting two legends having a friendly chat and left feeling like they just watched the basketball version of Inception. 2 weeks later they are still staring into space, wondering if Sue Bird's smirk at minute 7 meant early September, or don't even ask until Christmas.